What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a triple buffed level 50 crustacean theme team in the Open Great League with Dwebble on Rock Tomb and both Corefish and Clauncher having Aquajet. Now as you can probably guess from the title, this was by far the hardest team I've tried to run this season, and I think I started in the 2100 elo range, but I finished below 1900 elo, and despite all three of these Pokemon getting a buff this season, unfortunately they still suck very much. But obviously we just had the Deep Depths event with the Corefish and the Clauncher both spawning in the wild. I had over 2 million Stardust for the first time in absolutely ages after the Shelter Spotlight Hour a few weeks ago, and someone asked if I was going to build these Pokemon, so I figured, you know what the heck, let's just go and build these Pokemon for some meme content. And also shout out to Caterpie Queen for helping me get most of the XLs through trading, as well as partially powering up the Clauncher before lucky trading it over to me. Now before we get into the battles, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, this week's subscriber challenge is the Nuclear Warfare Challenge, and you can see the rules for this challenge on the screen right now. Please note this challenge is only for the Open Great League. And then secondly, I'm also pushing for a lot of community projects this season, including the weekly subscriber challenges, so I now have a Discord server to bring this community together. There will be a link to both the Nuclear Warfare Challenge and the Discord server in the description of this video and future videos, as well as in the pinned comment for this video. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is the worst Pokemon you've built so far this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Dwebble into Mandibuzz. So this is a good matchup for the Dwebble. The opponent is choosing to stay in initially before swapping into a Clodsire. We're going to come in with our Clauncher here, and this is one of the very few matchups that Clauncher can actually win in the Open Great League. I'm going to shield the first move, expecting the opponent to just full send an Earthquake, because if the opponent lands an Earthquake, at that point they can just start throwing Sludge Bombs or Stone Edges or whatever their other move is. But now we go for back-to-back Aqua Jets, winning CMP here as well. So Aqua Jet number 2 is going to grab a shield from the opponent. At this point, I'm going to no-shield this. You're going to see Clauncher actually able to tank the Earthquake there and just barely get the Water Gun farm down, coming out with 1 HP and a Dream. The opponent comes back in with the Mandibuzz before swapping into a Shadow Swampert, and I'm going to respond with my Corefish. We're going straight for Aqua Jet here. The opponent has not thrown a charge move, and Aqua Jet connects. It does big damage. The opponent finally fires off a charge move, but I can just safely shield this up here, and one more bubble takes out the Shadow Swampert. The opponent is actually just going to concede the match there, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there into the next battle. This is actually against a player that's on my friends list and a subscriber to the channel, and I recognize the name instantly, and luckily for me they are somewhat core broken by this Dwebble in the lead. However, I actually don't think Dwebble beats either a Lapras or a Grumpig in a one-shield scenario. But either way, we're going to go for the Rock Tomb. They actually no-shield there. Honestly, I was kind of hoping they would shield, and then I'd try to swap the next, swap and catch the next Sparkling Aria onto one of my 2 water types in the back. But either way, they come in with their final Pokemon, a Primeape. So we come in with the Clauncher. They don't throw moves straight away, so I'm able to grab a shield with the Aqua Jet, but the opponent does have a lot of energy. I'm going to no-shield this. The opponent full sends the close combat there, getting the KO up against the Clauncher. We are now going to come in with our Corefish here. The opponent throws immediately, so I'm definitely just going to shield, respect the damage, and they full send a close combat once again before swapping into a Shadow Grumpig. At this point, we're going to go for the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet will do respectable damage in this matchup. We're now going to swap into Dwebble, force the opponent to throw their energy, and they do throw pretty much straight away. Dynamic Punch gets the KO. We come back in with the Corefish, and I'm able to reach an Aqua Jet before they can reach a Dynamic Punch. Aqua Jet doesn't quite get the KO, but we get the farm down there. But unfortunately, Karate Chop takes us out there just before we reach an Aqua Jet, and we do end up losing that game. But GG's top end there into the next battle. See a Pidgeot in the lead. The opponent's going to say swap into Clodsire, and this was actually a battle I did before the first battle that I'm showcasing, and you're going to see why I came in with Clauncher rather than Corefish for that battle, because Corefish just does not have any bulk whatsoever. We're going to no-shield. I know it's just a Sludge Bomb, but Sludge Bomb nearly takes us out there, and the opponent will now just be able to double shield if they want to and maintain alignment. So Aqua Jet number 1 is shielded by the Clodsire. Aqua Jet number 2 also shielded by the Clodsire. And unfortunately now we are, of course, losing switch advantage. We're going to come in with the Clauncher, and I do know that I can still tank an Earthquake fairly well on the Clauncher, so I'm going to no-shield. They full send the Earthquake there, and I'm just going straight for Aqua Jet. I don't want to overfarm by too much. Honestly, don't know how much energy they've got anymore, but either way, Aqua Jet gets the KO there. we are going to see the opponent's going to come back in with the Pidgeot, so we swap into our Dwebble, and they've got Pangoro in the back. So at this point, I'm going to no-shield. I have to call that they're not going for a close combat. It's just a Night Slash. They don't get a boost, but unfortunately, they are just one Karate Chop away from a second Night Slash. So X's are going to be no-shield, of course. All shields are down, but they do just barely outpace us to the next charge move. So at this point, I don't want to take any more damage from these Karate Chops. I need to get rid of this Pokemon and then hope the opponent throws a charge move as soon as they get there on the Pidgeot, and I think that's exactly what they've done here. So, of course, even from this range, Feather Dance gets the KO, but can Clauncher reach a last-second Aqua Jet? No, just barely not. They wing attack, farm me down, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into the next battle. See Cradilly in the lead. So, of course, I'm expecting Rock Tomb here, but I should be able to live this. And, of course, they are a grass type as well, so kind of corroborate the team. But they actually go for a rock slide there, so kind of good that they don't debuff my attack. But also, they are slightly spammier here. We go for the Exeter. Exeter connects, and it puts them into range where I'm hoping 4 bubbles will be able to farm them down. So, at this point, I actually just fully sacrifice the Dwebble. We come in with the Corphish, and we get that perfect farm down. But they come in with a Shadow for Alligator. Now, of course, I am purified. I'm purified for the one and only reason of running return, but unfortunately, the opponent shields that up. They respect the damage. I'm kind of forced to swap out at this point. I'm assuming it's just going to be a Hydro Cannon there. That is resisted damage, and we're able to make it to an Aqua Jet. Now, Aqua Jet, unfortunately, is going to be resisted damage. It doesn't do much damage, but then they swap into a Skeleturge, and that is huge for me because I'm just barely able to reach an Aqua Jet. And Aqua Jet grabs the final shield from the opponent. That is huge because now we can come in with the Corphish. I'm hoping I can double shield and then commit to a full bubble farm down, come out with another return loaded, but actually, it doesn't quite look like that's going to happen. So we're going to shield here. Can we reach the full farm down? No, I have to throw a charge move here, but I have back-to-back Aqua Jets. Aqua Jet gets the KO there. Aqua Jet going to be resistant damage up against this Shadow for Alligator, but they are fairly low, and Aqua Jet gets the KO up against the for Alligator, and somehow I'm able to take that game. So, GG top end there into the next battle. See Morpeko in the lead. So, of course, not really great for us. Well, I mean, X's are going to be hitting for super effective damage, but they very easily outpace me. I have to no-shield the first move, and I am just barely able to tank that and reach an X-Scissor. So that's probably best case scenario for us in this situation. We're now going to come in with the Corphish. I can't just let them farm me down there. We are going to have to shield the next charge move as the opponent does go for the Aura Wheel there before swapping into a Venusaur. But we do have the energy advantage. We're going straight for return here. Please, opponent, let this go through. Return does connect. It does huge damage, but it doesn't quite get the one shot there. That actually might be slightly better for me because now we can come in with the Clauncher. One Water Gun should get the farm down here. So we come in, we get that farm down with the Clauncher. If they come back and win Morpeko, they probably will just barely make it to a charge move. So we swap, we make the catch onto our Dwebble, catching the Aura Wheel, of course. Aura Wheel going to be taking out the Dwebble. We can come back in, get the Water Gun farm down, but they've got another for Alligator in the back. This time, it's a non-shadow. I'm going for Crab Hammer as that does have a chance to boost up our attack by 2 stages, similar to Night Slash, but unfortunately, we don't get the boost there. And at this point, it's definitely game over. Just for the sake of it, I want to see how much damage this Aqua Jet is going to do anyways, and you can see it does laughable damage. Nowhere near enough damage to take out for Alligator, even if I was double boosted there. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's up there into the next battle. We see another Mandibuzz in the lead. This time, they're staying in, and they're firing off a charge move. So fine with me. Gonna no-shield the first move as they go for the Aerial Ace, and they're still staying in with the Mandibuzz. So we go straight for Rock Tomb here. Rock Tomb gonna be no-shielded, and Rock Tomb puts them into perfect farm down range. But they come in with more Morpeko. So at this point, I can reach an X-Scissor. I kind of need to stay in here to force the opponent to throw a charge move. Nope, never mind. I'm actually going to swap out, and the opponent comes in with a Azumarill. So, unfortunately, not really ideal, but this is just going to be an Ice Beam. So, I'm going to no-shield this. Ice Beam is resisted damage. I can only hit for resisted damage as well. And once again, because we can go for a potential boost here, I'm going for the Crab Hammer, but unfortunately, no boost once again. But we've got them into the yellow health range already, which is honestly quite respectable from the Clauncher. They go for another Ice Beam there. Not really sure. Maybe they're just on Hydro Pump and figured might as well throw the slightly spammier charge moves, but either way, we go for Aqua Jet, we then swap into Dwebble, hoping the opponent would throw their energy, and they do exactly that. That's huge for me. We can now come in with the Corphish. Remember, Morpeko does already have a charge move loaded, so if the opponent swaps out straight away, this could be tricky for us, but they stay in, they fire off a charge move, and I know Corphish can live this. And again, it's just an Ice Beam there. They swap back into Morpeko, but now I've got a huge energy advantage. We can shield up the charge move there. We can farm up to very close to back-to-back Aqua Jets. First one should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and a second Aqua Jet will be enough damage to take out the Morpeko. And remember, we've also got an Aqua Jet loaded on our launcher. I'm not going to swap out though. Bubble actually takes out the Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG so far there. Into next battle, we see Altaria in the lead. So, on paper, I'd think this is probably a good matchup. I actually looked this up on PvPoke afterwards, and it's actually not good for the Dwebble. They do just barely beat us. But I'm going to shield this first charge move as they go for the Sky Attack. I'm hoping to commit to a full farm down here. But they actually survive with 1 HP. I realize if I commit to the extra Smackdown, they make it to a last second Sky Attack. So I'm forced to swap into my 1-turn fast move Launcher. And unfortunately, that might have just lost me the game here, because now we are met with a Lapras. They even no-shield the Aqua Jet. I swear, every single time I went for the Launcher, or if I went with my Corphish and went for an Aqua Jet, it was no-shielded. But the very few times I went for a return, it was shielded pretty much every single time on my Corphish. But either way, we go for Rock Tomb. They actually no-shield, and they come in with a Typhlosion. So the opponent was triple weak to Rock here. And of course, they're going to be weak to the Corphish in the back. These bubbles, they are chunking, but they're not quite doing enough damage to get a full farm down. I realize my play here right now is not to throw a charge move. Instead, we get the extra bubble through. But does this help us here? We're going to come back in with the Dwebble. We get the farm down, but we're just too low. The opponent can just go for a sideway farm down with their Lapras, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG so far there. Into the next battle, we see a Wigglytuff in the lead. So honestly, probably where we want to see it, just because we can go for a debuff with the Rock Tomb. This is just going to be a Swift, so I'm actually going to no-shield this. Obviously, my team is reasonably glassy, so I kind of need to save shields when I can, and we go for the Rock Tomb. We debuff their attack. Honestly, because they've got a Charmer in the lead, I should have just thought that they're going to have a Kanto Marowak in the back, and thought, you know what, might as well just save the Dwebble there. I'm sorry, not save the Dwebble, just stay in with the Dwebble and let them farm me down. But either way, we are going to have to no-shield this, because otherwise, if I shield there, I still have to throw a charge move, and then they can just farm me down with their Marowak. So at this point, we're going to come in with the Clauncher, and Clauncher able to get the farm down there, and it is a Marowak in the back. So again, my only win condition is going for a Crabhammer and getting the attack boost. Crabhammer does not get the boost there, and unfortunately, even though I'm dealing super effective damage, they're able to deal more damage with the Marowak. I go for an Aqua Jet here, hoping that Dwebble was somehow going to reach an Exeter. That's not the case. They can just Mud Slap, farm me down, and I end up losing that game with 2 shields still in play. So pretty embarrassing there. But into the next battle, GG to opponent, by the way, leading into a Wall Range. So a goodly matchup for me. The opponent slave swapped into Golbat. What the heck was that? And then they just concede the match, and I'm pretty embarrassed to say that that is one of the only 4 or 5 wins I got with this team, so I've kept it in, because otherwise I've just got pretty much just all losses. So into the next battle, GG's to that opponent, I guess. But we're going to see a Miltank in the lead. So Miltank, bit of a core breaker, especially if they have Thunderbolt. So I'm going to shield the first move. The opponent baits with a Body Slam, and it's kind of hard to tell if they were baiting or if they just have Ice Beam as a secondary move. So I'm actually going to shield again, and it's just another Body Slam. So at this point, they're probably just on Body Slam and Ice Beam. So we're going to go for the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is going to be shielded by the opponent. At this point, I should live a Body Slam here. So what I might do is bank a charge move, then swap back into my Dwebble, and the opponent is going to fire a charge move. At this point, we are probably going to see the Ice Beam. Nope, never mind. They go for a Body Slam again, but they reach another Body Slam. So honestly, I'm starting to think if maybe they just single moved here, but either way, we get the farm down eventually. We are fairly low already, and we are down a shield and pretty much down a Pokemon, but they come in with a Wigglytuff. So what I'm doing here is I'm throwing Rock Tomb at the last second, because I don't want to give them any extra charms to farm me down. So we do debuff their attack there. We can come in with the Clauncher, and this should allow me to live a move, but they swap into Palossand. They clear the debuff, but of course, I can hit for super effective damage here. Go for an Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet, I throw at the last possible second, but the opponent just barely able to outpace me to the charge move. From this range, Disarming Voice gets the KO. We had the charge move on our Corphish, but I wasn't able to make any like CMP ties sack swaps there, because I actually would have just gone down to the charm damage anyways. So unfortunately, we do lose that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.